Hi, graduate students. This is Mackenzie Pearson, and I am your GSA treasurer. This video is going to help you understand and see what InfoReady looks like for the application process of our PDF, or Professional Development Fund, and our RCF, our Research Capstone Fund. So the first thing I would do is, if I was going to apply for either the PDF or the RCF, is to go to uncg.infoready4.com. And that'll bring you to this page that you see here. This is a list of the UNCG competitions, the programs, and process management. So you can go through and you can scroll through all the different competitions that are here. But I think the easiest way to find our GSA competition for the PDF and the RCF are to go into the search and type GSA. Now, obviously, the competitions are not live yet, so we can't see exactly what they'll look like, but there'll be two boxes just like we see here, except one will say GSA PDF and one will say GSA RCF. So in the application itself, which let's do the PDF first, our Professional Development Fund, which again is only covering the cost of virtual conference registration fees. So this is what the actual application will look like. Here we have here, some of the information is filled out for me, but this is again our PDF funding application. You'll go through and you'll see first that we have our basic information, our personal details. So we have our name, our last name, our ID, our email address, and our current mailing address. Very important to make sure we have an accurate current mailing address. The next important thing to note on this form is that our unit, department, or center is selected here. So again, if I was applying, I would select my department as kinesiology, and you would go by clicking here, choosing your department, kinesiology, or searching for your department, and then you'd obviously pick your own department to highlight, and it'll pop up there. Next is a common question we get, and that's are you a UNCG employee? As a graduate student, there's kind of a fine line that we walk. So if you are not an employee and you do not fit the graduate assistantship, teaching assistant, full-time staff or faculty, part-time staff or faculty, you are not a UNCG employee. Easy. You would click no here. But however, if you are, yes, let's say I'm a graduate assistant, that would click that and continue to the next question. If you're unsure, this is a great time to ask your department head or faculty advisor what role you play. Next, it's important if you are staff or faculty, for our funding purposes, we need to know if you receive a tuition waiver, a fee waiver, or you're a visiting faculty member. Next, you want to select your status. So for me, if I was filling out this application, I would click my status as a US citizen. However, if these other choices better represent your status here, then obviously you'd want to click that. Remember that your total funding request is just the amount that you are asking for reimbursement. So how much should your virtual conference registration cost? You fill that out here. Remember, we can't exceed $200. And then you have some questions to fill out. What will you gain by this conference or participating in this research? So give your best answer there. And again, another question which you see, how will your attendance or participation benefit the UNCG community? Again, give us your best answer there. Next is our information, just to ensure that you are presenting, is your proposal title and abstract. So make sure that the title of your presentation and the abstract is submitted here. If you don't have an abstract for your presentation, that's fine. Tell us a little bit about what you presented on, and kind of give us maybe a 30-second write-up of what your presentation would look like if you did have an abstract. The next section of the PDF is our file uploads. So this is all that documentation that the previous video outlined. So the first thing we're going to go through is our statement of support from our faculty advisor. So here we would just say, choose your file. You would select where you have it saved and upload it here. The next would be your residency documentation. So based on what you chose, whether a US citizen or the other options that best describes you, you would follow whichever paperwork you need. Again, you'd select file input, choose your file, and attach those documents. The next is our student reimbursement form, which, if we remember correctly, form is here. Oops. Our form is here. It's on our GSA website. So if we go to funding forms, we have GSA student reimbursement form. We would click download and fill that out. Again, best to have that filled out prior to your submission, because remember that for both the PDF and the RCF, it's a first come, first serve. So right here's where you'd put that student reimbursement form. The next is your receipt from your conference, which needs to be itemized. If your conference hasn't occurred, that's fine. The best thing to submit there would be your acceptance letter. And we'll need to have that receipt of your conference after you have that, when it's closer to the time that you present. The last thing that you need to upload is your confirmation of your participation. So remember, this is your schedule, your conference at a glance, or even your thank you note for attending the conference. We just need to have proof that you went. On the schedule, if you screenshot and save as a PDF of your presentation, even better. But we understand that some conferences don't necessarily break it down to that small. The next thing you see is your save or submit your application. So if there's any other email addresses you want for your correspondence, you can put them here. And then the final thing is you need to read very carefully is the acknowledgement. So there are about 4 or 5 bullets that you want to read through, make sure you agree and understand. And then all you do is submit your application button here, which should be blue. For our RCF, or our Research Capstone Fund, that application will look like this. So very similar to what our PDF looked like. Our RCF, again, asks for that personal details or information. So we have first and last name, student ID, email address, your current mailing address. Again, very important to have that be accurate. And then again, you would have department or center. So you would click that to find your department, to choose to make sure that we have your GSA representation. So for me, I would click kinesiology, and it would pop up here. Again, make sure that's correct before moving on. Same thing, are you a UNCG employee? So again, if it's a yes or no, and then if it is a yes, what that looks like for you. So are you a graduate assistant? Are you a teaching assistant? Are you a full-time or part-time faculty or staff? Again, it's important if you are staff or faculty to choose if you receive a tuition waiver, if you receive a fee waiver, or you're a visiting faculty. The next thing, again, we want to know your status. So again, select whichever one fits best for you. And then let us know what you want to purchase. So in 1 or 2 words, describe what you want to request to purchase here. In this box, again, you're going to request the total amount. So if the item costs $250, that's where you would put $250. Remember that we can't exceed that $300 mark. The next thing we'll do is go through the questions. So there's less questions on the RCF than the PDF. But for the RCF, we want to know how this purchase of this item will benefit the university. This is very important that you take your time and you have a good and your best answer for how the university purchasing this for you is going to benefit your research. And then in here, our application details. It's a little confusing because we're not having any type of abstract or proposal. But the way InfoReady is set up is we need to have that proposal title box in there. So instead of writing your proposal title like you would for the PDF, just write what item you want. So the little boxes here will help you. Name of item or items that you are requesting to purchase. And finally, we have our upload files. So again, less files than our PDF, where we have our letter of support from our faculty member. And then the proof of cost. So the documentation of the items and the proof of how much they actually cost. A screenshot saved to a PDF or a Word document is a great way to fill and upload that file. The next and final things you have is you just want, again, any other email correspondence that you want to have with us rather than your UNCG email, type that here. And then again, you want to read the acknowledgements very carefully to make sure you agree and understand. Check that box and then submit application, which again, it'll be blue. You'll submit it and you'll get a receipt that you submitted. So GSA is very excited to open up our RCF and PDF applications for the fall of 2020, and we look forward to seeing your applications.